Some days I don't want to exist, and I'm tired of pretending that's not part of healing. I recorded this in one take, no script, just me in a moment. It's about suicidal ideation, but more than that, it's about not hiding anymore. If you've ever felt like you're drowning quietly, this one's for you. For as long as I can remember, I have been there for other people. I have tried to be their therapist, tried to be their coach, tried to be a motivating voice for him because I knew how hard it was to deal with mental health issues or to deal with feeling alone, and I never wanted anyone to go through that alone. I always wanted to try to fix them. I wanted to try to make them happy, to make them see how great life could actually be. But I was a hypocrite because on the inside, I was dying. I was struggling with suicidal ideation amongst so many other things for most of my life, and I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't know how to tell anyone about it. And the rare time that I did, I got treated differently for it. I got judged. I got pitied. I got shown sympathy, which were things I didn't want. I didn't like to be pitied. I didn't like people to know that I wasn't happy all the time. So I put on a front. I made people think that nothing was wrong. Even my own husband of 15 years didn't know or didn't notice that I was struggling so bad because I did such a good job at putting on a front. But the truth is, I picked out my death date. I picked out a day that would not interfere with holidays, that would not interfere with birthdays. I picked out a plan. I knew how I was going to do it, and I knew when I was going to do it. I gave myself 6 months. If something didn't change in those 6 months, I was going to end it. That date that I picked out was March 28th of 2024. If things didn't improve by then, I was going to end it. Not because I wanted to, not because I wanted to die, but I did not know how to keep living with the mind I had. I did not know how to keep living with the constant chaos, with the constant fighting with myself, with the ruminations, with the obsessive thoughts, the anxiety that I felt as soon as I woke up that would have me in tears. I didn't know how to keep living life like that. I didn't know how to keep hiding it from everyone and how to keep internalizing it. I was so exhausted. I was burnt out, and I just wanted an out. And that seemed like the easiest, best solution. So I had my death date picked out, and I felt relief. I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel second guessing myself. I felt relief. I felt comfort. And that scared me. Not the thought of ending it, but the fact that I was so comfortable and felt so much relief from it. It scared me because I knew that I was going to follow through that time. Suicidal ideation is nothing new for me. I first started having suicidal thoughts when I was 8 or 9, and I made my first attempt at the age of 10. It wasn't until just recently that I considered myself a suicide survivor, because even though I had made several attempts throughout my life, I couldn't see myself as a survivor. And so once I realized that, it kind of just broke free another part of me. What a lot of people don't realize about suicidal ideation is that for some people, it's a constant thing. I could be happy. I could be out hanging out with people, laughing, enjoying my time. The next thing I know, my mind is telling me I should end it all. That voice became so loud in my head that anytime something went wrong in life, anytime something happened that I didn't like, that was my first solution, was just to end it. Suicidal ideation tried to take over my mind. It tried to make me think that I could never be happy, I mean, I knew that happiness was out there. I knew that healing was out there. But throughout all of the healing I had done, nothing seemed to really touch on the suicide side. A few years ago, I decided to start therapy again to see if someone could help me quiet the chaos in my mind and to help me work through suicidal ideation. I was very honest with the therapist. I told him everything that was going on in my head. I was very transparent. But suicide makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It makes a lot of people instantly judge or feel concerned. And it stops a lot of people from treating you like a human instead of a psych patient. I knew suicide was wrong. I knew that it wasn't the option that I should go with. But it seemed easiest at the time. And no one could help me with it. No one could explain why I was dealing with this. No one could help me try to work through these thoughts. Instead, there was that judgment. There was that pity or sympathy. Or there was being institutionalized. Throughout my childhood, I was institutionalized several times for anxiety, depression, and suicidal attempts. I was in therapy for 15 years of my life. And throughout all of that, no one touched on the suicidal thoughts. And just bringing them up put you at risk for being locked in longer. So I learned to hide it. I learned to internalize. I couldn't talk to anyone about it because no one really understood. I tried to find online support groups with others who have dealt with suicidal ideation, but there's so many censors, so many restrictions that most platforms you can't even mention the word suicide without getting reported or taken down. And although that's to help others, it seems like a slap in the face. It seems like another way to quiet those who suffer with suicidal ideation. I understand that the suicide hotline is there and that people should reach out when they need help. But joining support groups or trying to find blogs or other things that help alleviate some of those suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts should not be censored. They should not be blocked because it does make people feel even more alone. It made me feel more alone. And it made me feel like I had to suffer in silence. Like there was no help, no support, no real help or support to overcome this. Just judgment and the risk of being institutionalized again. I so desperately wanted someone to just tell me it was going to be okay. To tell me that even healthy, happy people suffer with suicidal ideation from time to time. And to tell me that I didn't need to go through it alone. But I couldn't find that. No matter where I looked, I couldn't find that. And so I suffered in silence until one day I decided I was not going to wait for someone to save me anymore. I decided that I didn't need outside support or validation to get through this, that I could overcome this on my own. Now, I still have suicidal thoughts to this day. And to be completely honest, even a couple days ago, it was really strong, really heavy on my mind. But the difference now is I know that those are just thoughts. I know that I don't need to give in or entertain those thoughts. I know that it's just my mind trying to protect me in the way it learned how to do so. Once I stopped trying to find outside help or find validation from someone else, I was able to do the inner work that I needed to not allow those thoughts to be so controlling or so prominent in my mind or so loud in my head. Part of me still thinks that suicidal ideation is going to be with me forever. And that's okay if it is, because I know how to handle it. I know that they're just thoughts. They will come and they will go, and I don't need to attach to them. Once I stopped searching for someone else to save me, it allowed me to start doing the uncomfortable work of saving myself. I faced the demons I'd been avoiding for years. I studied the mind, I trained my awareness, and I learned how to build the brain I wanted, not the one I inherited. Now, like I mentioned, the thoughts are still here, but they're nowhere near as loud as they used to be, and they're nowhere near as frequent as they used to be. Suicidal ideation can feel so defeating. It can feel hopeless, like the only way out is to end it. I know what it's like to wake up and think, I don't want to do this anymore. But I also know what it's like to find peace again. Real, honest peace. Not toxic positivity, not forced smiles, but peace. If you are someone who also struggles with these thoughts, you don't have to believe in hope yet. You just have to stay. It can get easier. You can feel differently than you do right now. You're not broken. You're not stuck like this forever. You're just hurting, and that's something you're allowed to heal from. I don't know if anyone will actually listen to this. I just know that I can't keep staying silent. With suicide rates continuing to climb, there needs to be more awareness on this. There needs to be more authentic support regarding suicidal ideation. There needs to be less stigma and more help. And if you are listening to this and you also struggle with these thoughts, please know that I am here. If you ever need someone to talk to, no judgment, no trying to fix you, just support, just a listening ear from someone who has been there. Please feel free to reach out. Seriously, whenever you need, I am here. My email will be in the description of this post, so if you need to talk, if you need anything, please email me. I'm here for you. You don't have to go through this alone.